Hi there, this is Ross Tessine with Woodfire Power, and this video is going to be about electric vehicles in general, the federal tax credit, and a little bit of an update. Today in town I was talking with a number of people, and it appears that more people have found out about Andrew Yang since the December debates. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm going to continue doing technology things, but I'm also doing Andrew Yang things and just about to take off on a 4 to 6 week tour around the United States. I'm still at home in Grass Valley, California, and I saw this video this morning, which I think is fun. The title of the video is Andrew Yang drives the Tesla Cybertruck at Laguna Seca. This is a CGI experience, but it's actually pretty cool. I don't know how to do embedding yet. I'll learn it. I'm not a professional YouTuber, but anyway, this is pretty cool. I don't know if this entire thing is CGI or if they drove the truck around or what, but clearly a number of the camera angles where they fade in right through the wall of the vehicle are camera angles. The only thing I can tell you is I've been to Laguna Seca and walked the entire track at night, as well as watched IndyCar races by day, and this is in fact Laguna Seca, so this looks very legit, but the CGI is certainly, like right here, this is definitely CGI, where it goes through the thing, and then you can see a Ford logo on the helmet where the guy forgot to remove that, but he put a new way forward on the back, Yang 2020, which I thought was really cool. Anyway, take a look at that. It was a fun video to watch. The main thing I wanted to talk about was electric vehicles, and of course Elon Musk has endorsed Andrew Yang, so it would make sense that he had allowed the Yang campaign to deck out the Cybertruck with Yang logo. I think that would be super cool if they did, and then they started driving that around the country. In fact, I'd drive it around the country happily. What I want to share today is a policy I think Andrew Yang should have, and anyone interested in electric vehicles and the auto industry should really care a lot about. The auto industry, GM, Ford, Chrysler, those have been mainstays in the American manufacturing sector and are significant companies. The U.S. bailed out GM and Chrysler to the tune of billions of dollars when they went bankrupt after doing their goofy shenanigans. But today, kind of a very, very bizarre thing is going on, and I think Andrew Yang should call this out. If you go to purchase an electric vehicle in the United States, you can take a federal tax credit of $7,500. What that means is you can take whatever your reportable income was on your tax form, subtract $7,500, and then that's your new reportable income. So it reduces the amount of income tax that you are obligated to pay. The problem is that the bill was written in such a way that each company is allowed to sell 200,000 vehicles, and the purchasers of those 200,000 vehicles can claim the federal tax credit and no more. After that, then anyone who buys a vehicle during the next year gets a reduced, so it's cut by 50%, and then that's cut in half again, and then finally it's phased out entirely. So if you want to buy a Tesla today in 2020, you will get $0 federal tax credit. Now, a federal tax credit, a city tax credit, any kind of an incentive is intended to help grow that industry, and it's intended to help grow that business within the American market space. So in part it might be solar, wind, and we want to just benefit that industry, but we also want American people to install solar and wind renewable energy power plants as a distributed source of power across the country. So it makes sense to offer credits for those. There's no phase out. You sell, 100,000 panels and you're screwed. You can't customers don't get a tax credit anymore. They don't do it that way, but they do it that way with electric cars. And Tesla passed the 200,000 car limit at, I think it was the end of 1918 or 2018. And so anyway, the credit's phased out, so you get $0 today. What that means is that if you go out and you buy a Porsche or a Mercedes or an Audi or a Toyota, a Subaru, any foreign company electric vehicle, you get the full tax credit. If you buy the best electric vehicle in the world, which happens to be an American company by the name of Tesla, you get 0 tax credit. So what we're doing with our American dollars is we're funding the development of foreign electric vehicle manufacturer. GM is also in there, but they're also phasing out, and Ford is lagging way behind. They pulled a Hail Mary pass by making a major investment into Rivian electric pickup trucks. So hopefully Ford will be able to put the Rivian technology into their F-150 and avoid going bankrupt, frankly. Electric vehicles, you may not know it, but they are going to displace gasoline vehicles by the year 2025. My estimate, my graph, is that by 2025, approximately 20% of the current internal combustion market will remain. So the market's going to be down about 80% in sales of new vehicles by 2025. There will still be used vehicles being sold, but people aren't going to want new vehicles because people are going to want an electric vehicle and they're going to want a fully autonomous electric vehicle. There are a lot of reasons for that, but the program we have today is stupid and it is penalizing American industry. The electric auto industry is going to take over the entire auto industry, and we damn well should be in there supporting American auto manufacturers when we have the two best in the entire world in the form of Tesla and GM. So this law needs to be killed and a new one put in place. So I recommend that, number one, Andrew Yang support retroactively allowing everyone who has purchased any electric vehicle, which basically means GM or Tesla, where they didn't get the full federal tax credit, so that they can retroactively file for the full tax credit. Number two, take either one of two actions. Either A, extend the federal tax credit for all vehicle makes, or B, cancel the federal tax credit on all electric vehicles and add a 20 cents per gallon federal tax on gasoline and diesel fuels. And either of those ways benefit electric vehicles and penalize gas vehicles. So this is happening. It's the same thing as automation. And so we just need to get on board and to make it happen more quickly. That's my opinion, and that's where it's at. But by 2025, you will see the entire auto industry is going to have collapsed, and major companies are going to have gone bankrupt. They may not actually file for bankruptcy, but they're going to go into financial distress in the next 2 years under Andrew Yang's watch as president. And the reason they're going to go into distress is because people don't want to buy gasoline cars once they learn about electric vehicles. It's the same thing. People don't want to vote for Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren or Pete Buttigieg or Donald Trump after they learn about the policies of Andrew Yang. So just like we need to get Andrew Yang's word out there, we also need, well, not we in this camp, but I'm letting you know that the word about electric vehicles needs to get out there, and that is a part of what's going to be automated. AAA had a survey that found that 20% of new car buyers are not buying a new car right now because the next car they're going to buy will be an electric vehicle. And I know this is true because I'm one. I'm driving a 2007 Dodge Durango. I will not buy another vehicle unless mine dies, then I'll buy a used one or something. But I will not buy another gasoline vehicle. I will buy a new electric vehicle. And just so you know, if you're looking into electric vehicles, you absolutely want to buy a Tesla vehicle because every other vehicle, every electric vehicle charges just fine at home, and you can drive up to, say, 200 miles, whatever the range is on your car, and come back home and charge up. In the morning, you've got a full battery, so you're all good to go, just like with your cell phone. But when you go on a long trip, that's when it's different. When you go on a long trip in a Tesla, you just very easily and smoothly cruise from supercharger to supercharger. At every one, there's 10 to 20 to 30, 40 stalls sitting there where you can just drive up, plug in, charge up, and go away. While you're there, after a 3-hour drive, you need to go use the restroom and go get a hamburger, buy some food, and the superchargers are located in places where there is food. So you just very easily cruise. I've driven down to Los Angeles from Northern California 2 different times. One time down the back side of the Sierra Mountains in Nevada, down 395, and the other time down 5, and another time, well, 2 trips up 5, and 1 trip down 395, 1 trip down 101. All 3 of those corridors, it was simple to get charging. So there was never a problem at all with charging the Tesla, no matter where I was. And when I got back home, I could charge it up. That was a friend of mine's Tesla, so I don't own a Tesla yet, but I'm going to as my next vehicle. And frankly, the Cybertruck is so cool that hopefully that'll be my vehicle within a couple of years. Hopefully I can afford it. So that's the deal. We are stupidly penalizing the best electric car makers in the world, namely Tesla and GM, with an American-funded federal tax program. The program should be shut down immediately, and a different program installed that retroactively compensates everyone who missed out on the full tax credit from both Tesla and GM, and then either extend that program indefinitely and shut it down at the same time for all vehicles, or the better solution is just put a 20-cent per gallon extra federal tax on gasoline. Use that money to fund the construction of high-speed electric vehicle tunnels, which I will talk to you about in a future video. That's it for today, and we will be starting on our trip around the country probably in a couple of days because Dad's not doing so great down in Los Angeles, so we're going to go down a little bit early, and hopefully he can make it to his 100th birthday January 14th. So talk to you soon. Have a great week and wonderful New Year.